Well, I'm excited to talk to you. We're going to get into your new album that's about to drop. Before we get into that, though, here at Bionic Buzz, we're all about people's passion. I want to know where your passion for music came from and led you as an amazing journey. Was a certain album inspired, certain live performance, or something that was just naturally for you since?
Yeah, yeah, it was an album. It was Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park.
Oh, very
So
cool.
me and the whole rest of the world, right? I'm not unique in
Yeah.
that regard, but it impacted me so much. Like in middle school, I didn't know that like a bunch of grown men, like 25-year-old dudes, could like so accurately sum up how I felt. It made me feel like music is very, very powerful. I want to have my own shot at trying to impact the world in the way that they were impacting me, you know? So that like just got its hooks in me, and I've felt that way ever since.
Yeah, a funny story real quick about that album. So I was in college, and I had a friend discover them through Napster, and I became one of their street team members. So they were called Hybrid Theory at the time, but I guess when they got signed, they couldn't keep that name for some reason. So that's why they
You
call the album
lucky,
that.
lucky
So, but
guy.
they sent me these demos and stuff, and
Oh my
it was pretty
God.
funny. I had to I had posted posters up around college campus.
No, dude, I was also in the street team, but like 3 years after you probably. And so you
Yeah.
were like the OG, holy
Oh
grail, early
yeah, yeah.
adopter. You guys were the cool ones back then.
Yeah. Well,
That's
first, Icon for Hire. I think it's one of the coolest band names. Well, how did you come up with that? That is
awesome. Thanks. I'm glad you think it's cool because
yeah.
sometimes I wonder about it because it kind of sounds like we're trying to make ourselves be icons, which is not the idea. It was just we needed a name for the flyer for the show we were playing, and so we needed to come up with a band name. And at the time, Miley Cyrus or like Hannah Montana was getting really big, which I got no knock on Miley Cyrus. She's awesome, but at the time,
I like her new rock album actually.
Oh, I know. She's freaking great. Like, I love her. I think she's super talented.
Yeah.
But at the time, like that whole Hannah Montana, like being in Walmart everywhere, it was just such a weird mixture of music and commerce and like 11-year-olds trying to be punk rock. I just didn't get it. And so there was this big Kim Kardashian thing too. Like they were really coming into their own. And so it was a comment on pop culture and how easy it is to rise through the ranks. In Kim Kardashian's case, maybe for not a great reason, you know, it's making fun of the industry essentially.
Yeah, well, I think it really kind of matches the kind of the lyrics and tone for the band and stuff. So,
Cool. Okay,
let's
good.
talk about some of the tracks that have been released so far of his new album. Am I pronouncing this correct? Amorphous?
Amorphous.
Amorphous. Okay, I'm so dyslexic. Sorry. Comes out February 19th. The track "Waste My Hate." Oh, so good. I love. Basically, kind of sums up every song. I feel like this. You guys have like kind of like a really amazing like introduction, cinematic kind of thing, and it's got great guitar riff and amazing lyrics. For this one, I really like the "Bless Your Little Black Heart" line. I love that part. Talk about the
Thank
writing
you.
process for that song. You know.
Yeah. So that line, "Bless Your Little Black Heart," actually came from my book. So I wrote a book a couple years ago, and
Really?
there was a line in there. And I was talking to a guy here from Nashville, and he was like, "That's a cool line." He's like, "We should turn that into a song." And I'm like, "Oh my God, you're right." So I ended up writing the song with him. His name is Blair. Oh, I forget his last name. He's awesome. And we don't work with co-writers ever. It's just not in our DNA. So it was a rare treat to get to connect with him and have it go so well. Shawn made the track. It's obviously a lot more like kind of, I'd say, classic rock and roll than some of our other stuff. It's just straight to the point. It's like a 2-minute song, get in and get out. So we didn't know if it would fit with the vibe of Amorphous, and we didn't know if people would like it or not, but everyone seems to respond well.
Yeah, and there was a music video. Did you just get like a bunch of friends together to be in there? I love that.
Exactly what we did. Exactly what we did. I don't know if you've seen, but we're doing a lot of videos for this release. That's our 4th video, the Waste My Hate one. And so the one before it was very elaborate and like just tons of sets and really long prep work. And so we thought let's just do something more fun and playful to kind of go with the vibe of the song.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, you mentioned Last One Standing. We talked about the music video for that, which was pretty elaborate. I really loved it. You actually did a behind the scenes of how the music video got made. Me personally, I love the art form of music video. I know it's not as big as it used to be back in 90s and before then.
Sure.
But as someone as like a filmmaker myself, I love the behind the scenes things to it. Talk about putting that together and the music video itself.
Cool. Thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed that.
Yeah.
That was our first time bringing along a videographer to document the video making, because it's quite a lot of work, to put together the whole thing. You've got your makeup, your stylist, your extras, the musicians, and the whole thing. And so we're like, let's actually bring our fans into that process. So we had a guy, Brennan, come out. Actually the same guy that's in the video, who it's one of like the men in suits staring me down in the glass who people think.
Oh, really? That's him?
Yeah. So he did double duty for us that day, which was super sweet. And so he filmed that, and we got really good response to that behind the scenes look. And so we actually just made our 5th music video last Friday. And again, we brought in someone to document that. So there'll be another BTS for that video coming as well.
What song did you do for the 5th one?
That's Brittle. So that song isn't out yet. It'll release, the video release right after the album drops probably.
Oh, very cool. Another great one I love is Curse or Cure. I mean, and the lyrics is, am I the curse or the cure? Wow. Was that something that was in your book too, I guess?
Oh my God, I can't use that trick too many times.
Yeah.
No, that was something. Sean made this, like the track for it. Sean made the riff. He's a guitar player. He does a lot of the musical stuff, a lot of the production. Yeah. And he sent me the track, and I was like, we can't use this. This is like heavy and just like too rock and roll.
Yeah, it's got a really just simple but heavy guitar riff. I love it.
Exactly. And if you know us, usually we overcomplicate things and put a bunch of synths on there and a bunch of like melodics and just everything. But he was like, no, this is really cool. And then I got into it, and I had this lyrical concept that I wanted to write about, and that it just ended up working out, came to me, and I was like, this is cool. So it worked. Yeah.
And like it goes back to the other thing. You do really cool intros, and that one you got like the sirens going off and everything. Is that
You're exactly right. I'm glad you like
so talk about the writing process. Does Shawn come up with like guitar riffs to kind of match your lyrics, or maybe both, or you do the lyrics and he tries to match to something that, or
we do
depends
both
on the song maybe?
We always like to see who gets the most tracks that end up on the album. It's always a contest. So like, for example, Last One Standing, that was me and my piano in this very room, just playing, singing it out. I'm like, okay, cool, I love this. And then I shared that version, just chord, piano, and singing with Shawn, and then he puts all the music stuff on it, and we work with a producer here in Nashville to make that what you hear. But then Cursor Cure is an example where he actually wrote the guitar riff in the back of the van in Europe, like on the very last tour before COVID shut us down. So he's working on it, and he'll just record like a demo in Pro Tools, and then I'll put lyrics on top of that. So we do it both ways.
Very cool. Well, I love the art form that's album cover. Yours is very unique. It's kind of a combination, I guess, of your past albums together too. Talk about putting that one together.
Yeah, I actually just went through and looked at the whole process that we did making that, like all the different iterations, all the drafts, the little sketches we did on our iPhones to try to convey to the designer what we wanted. It took it took months to get that to where we wanted it to be. Yeah. And so we have a Patreon community. Are you familiar with Patreon?
Yes. Yeah.
So I went through, and I am sharing the whole process with our patrons so they can see, like, this is what the inspiration was. This is where we took it. Here's where the designer botched it. Here's how we saved it.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
Yeah. So that was a cool trip down memory lane. It made me so relieved, like we finally got it, because it's a lot of work, like logos and colors and fonts, and it's not like my favorite thing to do.
You probably go through like a million fonts, I assume, until you finally get the one that's like
You do, and you could just tear your hair out trying to communicate, like, because I know how to express myself musically, but I don't know how to express myself through graphic design. I don't know how to make the music work with the visual. So actually, my best friend, her name is Jess, she jumped on board this time, and she is a lot better at that stuff than I am. And she knows me. We've been friends for years. She speaks my language. So I was able to kind of vomit to her, like, this is what it feels like. And then she helped translate it. So we came up with the concept together. We sketched it out. And then she had a friend who she's worked with before, a designer named Simon Lovell, and he designed it. And I think it's some of the coolest design we've ever done has been on this album cycle. We're really happy with it.
Yeah, very cool. Yeah. Well, the album drops February 19th. You got some cool packages, bundles together where you can buy. It includes a t-shirt, CD, poster, hoodie. You can even get the album on vinyl. Everyone go to iconforhire.net. You mentioned a new music video. It's about to drop. Anything else in the works? Any like live stream? I know concerts are kind of up in the air right now,
Yes, you can be watching for the music video, and then we're going to do a virtual rock concert album release party a few weeks after it drops. And so we're going to be playing like fully live, not acoustic, like the real thing, going through the album, going through some, fan favorites from past songs and stuff. So that's kind of on the horizon right now, which we're stoked on.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to visiting Nashville one day. When it gets warmer, because right now, look at his post and it looks like it's freezing there.
It is kind of, well, it's like 45, 50. It's not bad, but it's gray. It's a gray
Yeah.
city right now. Yeah.
All right. Well, you take care and we'll talk down the road. All right.
Awesome. Thanks for having me, Steven. I
No
appreciate it.
problem.